Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to a Solitaire mystery where Lock Solitaire is going on the waitlist for a little while. Let's just keep forging ahead here. Cheat Deck Solitaire. Inspired in part by a magician's deck of cards seen years ago which featured 52 copies of the Seven of Diamonds. There are only two types of cards and their values change based on stack size. Okay. No, not that. This. 104 cards, 52 face up, 52 face down. Think of these as two different suits. Cards of the same suit join into a single group when stacked. You can't move a card without moving its entire stack. Well, its entire group, it says, sorry. But they're the same thing. Groups can be picked up from anywhere, even under other groups, but only placed on empty slots or groups of size one higher or lower. You can place a group on another group regardless of their suits. The goal is to place groups of cards on the 3 slots on the right such that the size of a group is higher or equal to the number next to the slot. Each of the 3 slots requires first 5, then 7, then 9, and finally 11 cards. The groups can be of either suit. Clicking on the deck deals a new card on all 4 middle slots. You can see the upcoming cards above the slots. Fulfilling the goal requires 96 cards at minimum, so you have a surplus of 8 cards. Okay. That's sort of strange, but alright, so like you do that, right? You can grab sets from underneath other sets. Oh, I see, but it picks up like all 3 of the groups in this case. I thought I was going to be able to like scoop this out. That's sort of interesting, I guess. Wait, you can only placed on empty slots or groups of size 1 higher or lower. Okay. You can't. I thought this was, in my head, this was forming a range. Like, they mean actually only 1 higher or lower. Groups of the same size are not a legal target. So I need to deal these out so that I can place this 7 on these 2 7s. Okay, interesting. So then if we put the 2 onto the 1 over here, deal again so we have 2. Move this 1 onto this 3 so that we can put these 2 onto that 3, then we have another 5. Although maybe I should be trying to complete, instead of dealing out, instead of hitting all the 5s, maybe try to complete one of these stacks. Okay, deal me some more cards. I think I want a face down to get dealt onto that. We can start accumulation there. So in order to make a 9, I have to get a 4 built and then stack it on top of this 5. Which shouldn't, in theory, be all that difficult. Just deal it again. Because I just put 3 of them together and then get 1 more dealt onto that somehow. But I guess the word somehow is doing a fair amount of lifting there. Where's my method for that? Because this pile has gotten large enough now that it's harder to stack it with other piles, and it gaining another card is just going to make that even more true. And I don't actually have a lot of like legal movement here, right? I can't move just 2 of the 7s off of this. In fact, I have no legal movement right now, so I just have to deal again. Okay. So we take these two 7s, put them here. I might just be letting this accumulate to 7. All right, deal one more time. Ah, shit, that makes it 2. I was gonna... my plan for getting rid of this was to put it in a place where it can't actually go. So we have the 9 7s here. Can I move these to an empty slot? I can, and then we can drop that there. And then this is 6 now. So here's a 5 that's about to become 6. The 6 is about to become 7. And we want to make the 11. I actually think that's okay. I can't do anything with this. You can place a group on another group regardless of their suits. So one thing I'm not really doing is I'm not moving, I'm not doing cross suit moves. And that's definitely a way of getting some important stuff done. But right now we don't know, the groups are not sized appropriately for me to be able to do that. All right, so let's close this out. All right, so we have a group of 6 here, which can only now become a group of 9, 7 or 9 or whatever through accumulation. I guess it can become a group of 11 through getting a 5 placed on it. We have quite a lot of cards left. So I think we're okay. How do I want to set up? Like, do I want to take this 7 onto an existing group of 7? Probably, right? Because I want this group to be either a 5 or a 6. And it's not going to get there by adding another group onto it at this point. Yeah. Okay. So this is a 7 right now. The fact that these are both 2s is pretty awkward. But like, I can place this here because this is a 1 being placed on a 2. And so we can maintain that group. This is currently this is a 7, not a 6. Shoot. It might have been wise to stop growing this at 6, because then we could have combined a 3 with a 2 to make a 5 and then held it for the 11. But as it is, I'm going to have to try to just build it into... I have to try to just build it into a 9. And then... yeah, there's not really a way out of this one. Yeah, this like split up pack here is actually very awkward. Okay, so you're 6 now. It'd be great to stop your growth. And you are... it's harder to count for me the ones that are the ones that are face down. So this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Honestly, I guess I'm just going to accumulate again here. That's a 9. We'll take the 9. This is just growing by catching stuff off the top here. So we can go 1 and 2 onto you to make a 5. Build that last group there. Still have a lot of cards left. This honestly doesn't... This doesn't seem all that hard. Do I actually want to try to build... I think I'm going to go ahead and just use this as a 7. We'll try to build ourselves to a 5 and a 6 for the 11. Well, that's awkward. So... you put this here to catch one of those. But it's going to be fundamentally pretty awkward. So it's fine. Just go ahead and deal him down. Alright, so you have a 5 and a 3. Obviously, we got to be a little bit careful how we catch things at this point. We can put a 3 together here. If we make this a 6, and then build a 2 somehow onto the to put onto the 3, or just let the 3 accumulate twice, we'll close one of our sets. Yeah, we can just do the accumulation. Okay, so then put all these 7s together, pull this off of here, close that pile, and then we can go to... No, I can't, right? No, you can't. That actually means we're totally locked, right? I can't do anything with these as they stand, which is a shame because it's not, that situation's not going to improve with these cards getting dealt out, but I can't really do anything about it. Here we go. I need to break the symmetry between these two. One of them needed to advance while the other one didn't. Now here I can move a 1 onto a 3. This is a 4, and a 5 is going to put us in position to push this 9 up, and I think we probably just do that. Right, move the 7 onto here for a 3. Okay, now we just got to make a pair of 11s. We're good. No problem. Here's the thing about solitaire games, is they're very easy and no one's ever had a problem with one. So... we just gotta be careful not to overbuild our stacks, I think. Do I want to... I think this is actually okay how it is. Because we want to stack this up and keep it a competitive size with the other stack of 7s, right? Although I really like, this needs to be getting onto a 7. And I've not made that really available as an option here. Yeah, no, this is awkward. This is a little awkward. Alright, we'll deal him down. Let me put this onto here, and that onto there. So we got a 5. Two will let me scoop this into a 5 as well. This 1 can be joined with that 2 over there. Yeah, I think this is okay. So do this and then that. That gets us a standing group of 5 and a group of 3, which shouldn't be too hard to nudge into 6 and 5. I think. We can hope. This thing is growing at a rate that's a little bit faster than I would like. Yeah, not, I guess, a lot I can do about it right now. Okay, am I gonna lose control of everything at the end? It looks like the answer might be yes. Yeah, size one greater or one lesser is a real kick in the pants here. So these are all of the face down cards we're ever gonna see. What we got shown right now. I really need this not to become a stack of 7, but there's no way to move anything right now. No, that's not true. This is a 6 and this is a 5. So we can place a protective... Yeah, we can catch here. And get a 2 that can be merged with a 3. Yeah, that's not too bad. I hate getting all these 1s, though, because you can't fucking do anything with them. Alright, well... Gimme. Okay. So let's figure this out. Okay, the 3 merging with the 2. Allow me to grab all these, start at the 7s, and grab that. So that's 11 face down cards right now. And then this is a 5. That's actually really unfortunate. You get an undo here. This needs to catch. It doesn't end up mattering, though. Right, because, like, get the rest of these draws. I can place the 5 onto the 6 here. Separate these, put the 5 onto this 6. But there's no way for me to scrape the 7 off of here. What I needed to be able to do was combine this 3 with a 2 with these. But I can't, I can't quite make it. We were really, really close on that. Okay. That's interesting. So yeah, it does feel like the hardest part is at the end. So maybe I do wanna try to close out one stack at a time. The hardest part is at the end of a stack, I should say. Alright, so you're already a 5. But I do want you to accumulate one more then. But we could do this for now. Okay, so that's 2 5s. We're a little ahead of myself, perhaps. I think I'd rather be catching... Yeah, like that. So move this lone 7 off of here. Here's another 5. Not that that was exactly the plan. this to allow for combination. Okay, now I can move this 2 onto this 1, and now we're gonna have a 6 and a 5. All right, so there's 11 sevens. I got a little ahead of myself, got a little excited. We don't need the 11 just yet, but now it's there. Let's go ahead and place a 7. Okay, that's interesting. If I combine here and then we let this happen, we have a 3 and a 4. Then I can grab that, move this out. Trying to put together a 9. So it's pretty easy to build a 5 from here, right? We can 2 plus 1 plus, you know, a 2 takes a 1 and then a 3 takes a 2 and you have 5. The 4 is a little trickier. So what I probably want to do is just put this here and let this become the 4. Yeah. And then I want to guard that. So if we go 3 on the 4 to keep it a 4 when it's played, then we end up with this here, and that's a 5. And so now we have a 5 and a 4 of face downs. And we have this really awkward situation here where, like, this one of each accumulating face down is really rough. Okay. So if we go picking up singles with 2s, we're going to end up forming numbers that are kind of hard to work with, but I got to start merging these into the game somehow. We can pick all of this up. That's a stack of 9. And then move that off of that and let it at least grow to a 2. So we can form a 6 really quickly here, which is only useful to try to either reach 9 through accumulation or to combine with a 5. But it does help us. It does help us clean up this alternating stack, which is a real pain in the ass. And then I would love to put this on top of something else, but I don't have anything else that can accept it. Move this 2 on top of this 3 here. I mean, I can just play this as the 5 that goes here, right? Yeah, maybe that's worth it. I know I said I was going to try to close out stacks, but maybe it's worth it just to make sure that this this stack isn't always alternating. So now I can do that, and then, like, just make it a 7. At some point I need to form some of these higher values though, right? So in order to continue pushing along here, we can pull this over to there for a 3. Stack it on here to make a 7. But it's a 7 that has a single face-up card of the other suit on it, which is a weird one. Sorry, I should close that stack. I don't know what I'm just staring at it for. This will create 2. Yeah, actually, this is not bad. Go ahead and deal these out. We'll put this 3 on top of that 2, and then we have a pair of 5s here, which we can certainly do some work with in the future. I gotta make a 9 at some point here to advance. You have enough cards left in the decks that a perfectly reasonable way to approach the 9 might be to... Well, actually, I just have 9 face-ups here. Okay. And then after dealing, I'll have a 5 and a 6 of face-downs. So... just cash that in. And then if we go here, there's a 7. So what am I trying to approach here? Putting this here, receiving that gives me 4 and 4. Which, yeah, I guess is fine. Although I guess the one thing I didn't think about was it was going to leave us with 3 stacks of 4, which actually makes it super hard to, I need to receive that last card naturally, not through combination, and I put myself in a position where it's actually very difficult to do that. Okay, here we go. Submerge this 1 onto here. So we have a 4 going and a 3. This 4 really can only become... Like, I guess if I go... This becomes the 6 for the 11. I think this is right. Right? That's a 9. And then I just need to... do that, and now I have a 6 and a 5. Yeah. Okay. That one's interesting. It does test some different muscles, I think. This one looks like the cards are blank, which seems problematic. A continuation on cheat deck Solitaire, attempting to reduce the amount of different cards from 2 to 1. A worthy experiment, I suppose. The result is interesting, possibly not very entertaining beyond the first couple plays. Okay, what am I looking at here? All cards are identical, but they're placed into groups. The number of cards in a group determines the group's value. You can stack and move stacks of stacks of groups in descending or ascending order of value and may change mid-stack. You can combine two groups by right-clicking one while holding the other as long as their values differ by 1 or less. A group on an invalid spot is highlighted in red. You can't place groups on an invalid group or combine with one. Your goal is to fill all 4 slots with groups in descending order from 7 to 1. There's a slot on the right into which you can place a single group. Okay. So groups, yeah, okay, I see. Fill all 4 slots with groups in descending order from 7 to 1. What a weird... Okay. So you can make a 4 very easily, you can make a 3 very easily, you can place... Sorry, I can't place this 4 onto this 3. Right. I need to... like, combine this one with this one. I need a legal place for a 2 to sit. Oh, I think I just did a very silly thing. Let me, hold on. Let me... At the beginning... Here, we can make this... I can't make this legal by putting a 2 on that. Never mind. We can combine these and then put them here. And what we have to do is get down to the bottom of one of the stacks, right? So... And then move the 2 over onto this. Then we combine this one with this 2, make a 3 again. Combine this one with this one to make yet another angry 2. How do I want to... I need a fair 2 to move this 3 off onto. So in order to do that, I'm going to have to reduce one of these long stacks of 1s. So I can make that illegal. Turn this into a 2 and just... Well, I can just make it a 4 and let it sit here for the moment. And then... I can turn you into another illegal 2. Yeah, these like dense stacks of red values to start with are kind of interesting. So I can move a group up to the point where it's legal. How am I to get something else to be a 2 so it can become a 3? I think the answer is that I kind of can't. Right, and then I can feed... and place this over here. Now I have an actual like legal top space somewhere. Once I pulled this off, so I could just combine these 2. Oh, can I not do? I can't combine in the extra space. Okay, that's interesting. Interesting and more than a little unfortunate. Because Because obviously, like, combining this here and making a 6 just gets me... It makes this stack invalid, and then it just gets me further away from having a fair place to pull things. And yet, I'm doing it. No, I can't... Shouldn't I be able to do that? Oh, values differ by 1 or less. Okay, so I'm kind of locked. This is unintuitive to me, which makes it trickier than it looks. This sucks. Holy hell, this sucks. Okay. So when we combine this stuff, it's going to become a 2 that is illegal. I'm going to have to create larger and larger groups to pull value off of these stacks here until the stacks are reduced in physical size. Yeah. So now I have to pull this here. I'm really not allowed to do that, which is a real shame. Because I need to create a legal 3 somehow here. Can I swap? I can't just do a swap. Well, I guess I can do that, and then that makes that a legal spot to put down this 2. And then that 2 is a problem. But like if I had a legal spot to put down this 2 for just a minute, then we can move the 3 onto it. Right. So I can move this over to here, combine this to make a 4, put this 2 out of the way here so I can pull these down, and then this becomes a 3, becomes a 5, which we set on top of the 4s. Again, mostly to make room. But we're starting to make some progress here, right? We're digging through one of the stacks. Question is, how do we keep it up? So I place this down here and make it illegal too. That's not very helpful. I guess the thing I can do is oh, right, 1 size difference. That's actually going to make things kind of awkward. We got to be very careful how we approach making larger groups then. So I need to Yeah, it becomes very difficult to make larger groups, doesn't it? And I think I've locked things up in a really unfortunate way here. Yeah, I need at least a couple of stacks to be legal, just as a way of moving things around. So I have to be very careful when doing things that would disrupt that. I can do this. Step the 3 onto here, make this a 4. Okay. So now if I want to make a 5, I need to do it with a 2 and a 3. And then a 6 needs to be a 3 and a 3. So 2 and a 4, like, explicitly will not work. This will create a legal 3. A fine place to do some holding. That gets me a legal 3 as well. Okay, starting to make some stuff happen here. So now I need to make a 4 and a 3. Or just another 5, I guess, just to clear up space if I can. It's actually not trivial though. Yeah, I put myself in a position where I have something of a dearth of available 3s, huh? This one is a little bit more challenging to me as well. I might just be not in the right place for solitaires today. It feels like I'm struggling more. So we have access to some 1s, and we can almost reach these 1s. But without access to 1s, things break down a little bit. Yeah, I won't be able to form. If I make a 4, I won't be able to. It'll become illegal. We won't be able to move anything around at all. And that means, yeah, that I'm already locked, actually. Okay, gotta keep access to both 1s and 2s as we move through the puzzle. And it's not enough to have access to both 1s and 2s. I need to have access to legal 1s and 2s. So let's turn this into something. So I need to start pulling stuff like off of this stack carefully. You can make a legal 2 here. You can make a legal 3 there. I mean, just stacking 2s and 3s for a while is not really a terrible play. Unfortunately, maybe have run into a little bit of a snag on that. Well, we can do this and then just make this a 4 instead. And then that way I can stack a 3 and... What is my plan for that, though? So if we turn this into a 3 and pull it to here, then every pile except this one's illegal. We could go 2 and 2 to make a 4. Oh, never mind. I was going to say, and then we could add the 1 to make a 5. But first of all, I won't be able to do that here because the pile will be illegal. And secondly, you can't combine a 1 with a 4. So it'd have to be like make the 3, but then the 3's illegal. Well, okay, so make the 3, but then the 3's illegal, but then put it here, then move the 2 onto it to make the 5. But now all you can do is make a 3 and then have everything locked. Yeah, so the stacking of 2 illegal cards at the top of a pool here really sucks. Out of curiosity, if I pick this, well, it's not worth testing. I was gonna say if I pick this 2 up and I combine it with that 2 to make a 4, like, is that a thing I can do while it has a stack on top of it? Because it wouldn't actually break the adjacency, but then then we just have a big illegal thing sitting on top of there. And it is, important to remember that I can pull. Okay, so we could like do this, make that to pull this to here. This helps us sort of find our way back down a little bit, but only a little bit. So we really, really, really want to be able to combine a 1 and a 3 here, but I don't think I can anymore. I can make an illegal 2 and illegal 4 by matching the top cards of these down 1. I can't use this because we don't have access to legal anything. Yeah, it's just too much. It's too much illegal stuff at the top of all the piles. Then if this had a 3 or a 5 on it, we'd be able to do something at least. Getting back to a more legal state from a less legal state is really difficult. Wish you could combine things in the spot over here, which is of course exactly why you cannot. And also you can't just swap things. So yeah, 2 and 2. Yeah, none of this does anything. This can become an illegal 4. If only I could make a 4 in a position where it could still be combined with stuff. Alright, let's try it one more time. Be very careful when hitting like deep sets of illegal cards. Alright, so let's make a 3 out of that. We want to make sure we're clearing groups of illegal cards. And I'm wondering how good of an idea it is to just keep stacking 2s and 1s together. Like, how viable is this? I mean, obviously you run into this problem eventually. We can do this, then combine a 1 with a 2 to get ourselves back down a little. Pull this 2 over here. Because if we just get all of our stacks to be places where you can play stuff, and that would have a huge long-term effect. Alright, so you can pull another one over here. And then do a combination there. Pull a 1 off of this. Just gonna end up with the pile. I don't know. Is this like a totally crazy way to go about this? It doesn't feel all that bad necessarily. Right, let me just grab the. I would love to grab the 3. Yeah, and then once we have another space cleared out, we can kind of combine things from there. Okay, so here's a problem that you run into with this, is that you can't break things down. But we can squash 2 rows into a 3. And then go into a 4. If we're careful about this. So then we go back. So we go back into a go back into a 3. Then a 4, right? And then from here, wait, hold on. Don't use the legal 2 to do that. I think I was like excited about exposing the 1, but oh, did I trap myself by making myself 2 by having 2s exposed on all of the stacks? Do you have to be careful to always have a 1 available? The thing is, remember, we can peel this like at various values and try to we can break the stack and try to rejuvenate things a little bit. So if I make a if I make it a legal 4, I can then make a legal 3 to do this with. And then right, this lets me walk back down to here. Or we can go 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and then I can go back up to 3 if I need to. But also we can just keep pulling cards off of the thing. is this a plan in the long-term sense? I'm just kind of taking it one card at a time here. Okay, well now all of our stuff is legal forever, right? We can build carefully from here. So like descending to 7 to 1, right? We have to build. We can only do combines 1 greater or lower at a time. So there's my 7. Then make a 6 quite easily. This is going to become problematic though, in a pretty obvious way. Once we start losing space to work with, right? Right now it's easy enough to do this, but like when this slot is closed, things get different. So I need to maybe think about how we're going to deal with that. Am I... So one thing we can do right now, just to prep, is build the stack backwards. When we put the 1 on there, it's gonna close things up, right? Yeah, descending order from 7 to 1. Once you do this, the slot locks up and can no longer be used. So I guess we have a 4 already. Here's a 5. And pull this 2. I have kind of a spot where things get weird in the middle of the stack. Just combine that into a 7. And then so I'm trying to figure out how much more work I need to do. Is if we accordion this again, if we go back down from 7 to 2, what we did there was we created the 3 through 7 of a new stack. If we go down again, we'll be creating the 6 through 3 of a new stack. So I still have to be pretty thoughtful and careful about how we do this, but I think I want to try to build the larger numbers now as much as I can while we have space. Sorry, that's not what I wanted. I'm going to make a 3 that turns this into a 5. Then turn this into a 4. That 3 becomes a 3. We love a good 2. And actually at this point I can make a 1. Because the stack's not going to break on me. So I could pick this up and just close a slot with it. And in fact, if we pick this up and put it here, and then we make a 2, put this on here, I should be able to do this without... Hold on. I was not expecting that to close. Because if it closes like that, then what the fuck are we supposed to do? Okay. So when that closed, it ate a 7 through 1, and then a 2 through 7, and then also a 6 through 2. And we're going to be left with an unclosable number of remaining. Like, if we're going to do something like that, we have to be very careful that it consumes exactly some number of full stacks. So I was wrong about this. We can't safely do this. I do have to break the stacking at the 1. What a weird thing to happen. Okay, so I'm trying to make sure I end up with 4 7s before I commit things. I think this is working in a way that makes sense. Take the 5, because this is 5 number 3, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 5 number 4. And then here we have one, 2, 3, 4 6s. Okay. So 7 through 1. I need to make another 7. I think we're pretty close to good here. I need to have quite a lot of 1s. I need to make sure I have another. There's only 1 in this whole stack. So my other 7 has to use this 3. I had to keep all of those 1s. So yeah, we keep another 2. Shit. Does that? Yeah, that works. I just have to be careful. Because I have to combine 2 of the 2s to make the 4. And then combine the 4 with the 3. Okay. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold on. Okay. So this will close that. And then I gotta be able to unwind this into a slot is the problem, right? The fact that one of my stacks is upside down, yeah. When you get to this point, it becomes a little bit of an issue. And we know that if I pick this stack up and put it here, it'll freak out the whole. That's a bug, right? That's not supposed to work like that. Well, friends, I may be in a situation that I can't actually resolve here because of that behavior. This strategy requires you to be able to put this down and have it not close the stack, because this isn't just a descending order 7 to 2, you know? Because then I need to be able to put the 2 and the 1 and the 2 and the 1 onto these stacks to close them, and then backwind this off of this stack into what should be then the empty slot. So what I can do right now is I can put this here, close that, close that, put you on here exactly backwards. Just stack. Just hang out over here. This is really annoying. Frowny face. Okay. So yeah, with this behaving this way, the strategy I used to do this is just not functional. That is a crying shame. Can I make this work if I... No, because there's simply nothing to do with the 2 and the 1. Yeah, there's no way to make space. So you need to get the 7s in place first. Oh boy. I'm really not 100% sure how you are supposed to do this one, then. Because you can't just get the 7s in place first. It was like you need to form a single pile that starts at 7, gets down to the low numbers, and then stack a bunch of low numbers on it without ever doing the 7 through 1. And then build the 7s up. Like it's a variant of the thing I did, where you would then build each pile 7 down just by doing small stack alchemy. And like we could reverse to the point where I had the big stack and make that work. Ordinarily, I would say if you have to undo this much, you're kind of not really doing the thing properly. But again, I think there's part of what's going on here is that I did not understand the rules of the thing correctly. So let me like... Right, it's going to look more like this. But I guess actually we want to reverse back to the point where I don't have a whole upside down stack built. Yeah, we can probably pick up from somewhere around here, honestly. So like I need to make... Well, I mean, I need to make a 6. And then... here's a 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2... Okay. So it's going to end up looking a little bit more like this, right? Where you're building the stacks on top of this. Oh wait, sorry, we don't want to do that. I want to create a 4. Yeah, we're kind of like building the stacks in place, right? And then the tricky part becomes flipping the last bit of value off of the big stack and kind of doing the upside down thing once at the end. Yeah, I guess we can do that, and then I need to make another. Well, I can make another 3. We need to make a 4 as well. So I can make a 2 here. Combine these. Okay, and then make a 3. Oh wait, sorry, don't want to finish the thing just yet. So we want to, again, be kind of careful because we got to make sure that we have enough 1s left over at the end of this process. Okay. I was just making sure that I couldn't combine a group that was, you know, at the bottom of a stack I was carrying. It makes sense that you can't. So right, and then we're gonna try to build we had to siphon all the cards out of here while building the high value for this to make the 7 work, right? So another 3 that can sit here temporarily. I can just become 5, I guess, actually. And then we gotta make a 6. Okay, but I don't actually want to build my 7 yet. Let's be careful. It's okay to put down a 1, it just can't. Like, it could look like this. That's fine. And then that lets me store some 1s over here while we figure things out. So if I do this, we can build our 7 right here in place. 6, 5, 4, 3, and then I have to be a little bit careful. That's really not how that's supposed to work. Okay, hold on. So we can start closing stacks now, though. So I do need to make a 3 still. Okay. That one's fine. It's okay, I guess. Yeah, I think these are both like fine. They can't listen. They can't all be smashes. I really like. Actually, I think a thing I really like about this collection is that it is just like here's an experiment I did and why I did it, and it's like, you know, maybe this one's not the best, but like you get to see the line of thought playing out across the design iterations in a way that I think is really neat. There's like almost as a sort of like a museum piece of a project, just working to see if there are cool games to make in the solitaire space, or rather what more cool games there are to make in the solitaire space, because it's hard to imagine that a space that large is exhausted, right? Anyway, that I think is going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. We got there eventually, and I could have started fresh and gotten us back to the big single pile place. I think just using the undos was more expedient without actually removing any of the work. So that aside, thank you all so much for watching. When you come back next time, we're tackling at least a couple of new ones. There's still like a bunch left. It turns out 20 is a lot. So come back for more, and we'll see you then.